Joseph Bartolillo. This is my presentation on John Rawls' view of civil disobedience. Now, first we must discuss what civil disobedience is. Civil disobedience is the breaking of a law to cause the majority to change its opinion and or the law on a certain matter. Now we must discuss when civil disobedience should be used according to Rawls. According to Rawls, civil disobedience should be used when in a near-just society, i.e. a democratic one, an entrenched injustice is perpetrated against a minority. An entrenched injustice worthy or warranting violating the law with civil disobedience would be an injustice restricting the equal liberty and or fair equal opportunity of its citizens. So as to say, when the majority denies a certain class of citizens the same rights as every other citizen, this would be a case of equal liberty violation. Or when people of a certain class are not guarded the same access to benefits of society, this would be equal opportunity violation. These two laws are cases that warrant civil disobedience. Now, just because the majority is perpetrating a civil disobedient worthy injustice does not mean that it is time to enact civil disobedience. Similar to Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Rawls has a process or steps to take to further warrant civil disobedience. Both MLK Jr. and Rawls believe that reflection on whether or not the injustice is truly an injustice to the as before mentioned liberty is required. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Know the facts." Rawls says, "The right wrong." Both philosophers want serious philosophical contemplation on the facts of the injustice. The next step to both Martin Luther King and Rawls is legal remedies. Martin Luther King said there should be negotiations from the minority to the majority. Rawls said that legal means of redress have proven to no avail, but however, he clarifies, not necessarily exhausted. Rawls rightly believes in most cases the minority should attempt to rectify injustices through legal channels before civil disobedience. Now there are some cases that may warrant immediate civil disobedience, such as outlawing of Muslim prayer in public. It would be unacceptable to expect the Muslims to wait for legal remedy to pray again. This is an exclusion to the waiting rule. The Muslims should seek legal remedy, but would not be expected to cease their normal prayer schedule before legal remedy has been tried. Rawls has a prudent or tactful view on civil disobedience. Timing is important as well. Rawls can envision cases where many minorities could warrant taking up civil disobedience for their own causes. However, Rawls believes that too much civil disobedience can cause lawlessness or disorder. So Rawls feels that not all warrantable minorities should act all at once, civil disobediently and independently. The minorities should act together, organized as one group. These are when Rawls says civil disobedience should be enacted. Now we must discuss how Rawls justifies breaking the law. To Rawls, a just society in a democratic sense is based on a contract theory. We all live in this society and agree to be governed by it as equals according to Rawls. By participating in society and its politics, we take on the obligation and responsibilities of the laws and actions of the governors. By participating in politics, we become responsible for the laws passed and the injustices perpetrated by the laws. And as obligated by our participation, we become responsible for the freedoms denied our fellow citizens. So as political actors, it is our responsibility to defend the ideas of the Constitution and liberties of our fellow citizens. Now, it is morally wrong to break the law, but it is more morally wrong to deny the constitutional rights to an equal. As stated in a just society, we are all equal, and as political actors responsible for the laws enacted. We cannot sit idly by while our equals are denied constitutional rights. The ideas of a social contract come from Socrates' credo that being born to the polis creates a loyalty to the state, where Thoreau and Badeau garner ideas on the idea of personal responsibility.